Maybe to like Zyra, the first ban there in phase 1 from Echo Fox, Camille following there for Phoenix1. We are expecting at least the first 6 bans to feel fairly standard, as Syndra is the second there from Echo Fox.
Yeah, on the red side, it will usually be the Camille, LeBlanc, and Rengar. So we'll see what happens here. I know Phoenix1 do love playing Rengar themselves, so it may be a little bit of a challenge here because Acadian loves that champion as well.
Well, we'll see what happens after the Malzahar ban there from Phoenix1. Echo Fox do have their 3rd ban for this phase to try and take it here. You mentioned a lot of those strong junglers. We'll see if it's maybe more of a targeted ban or if it's just something pretty simple, which it is. It's Ryze there for Echo Fox as their final ban.
Yep, coming into this last one, LeBlanc, Rengar, Ryze were all up. Echo Fox decided to ban the Ryze away. So now at least LeBlanc or Rengar, one of the two will make it through this pick ban phase, and possibly both.
Well, we'll see what Phoenix1 want to leave up. They'll ban Ashe, actually, which is quite a curious ban. Very popular AD carry, arguably the best AD carry you can pick, but leaves this open. There's the LeBlanc.
So Phoenix1, I mean, you can pretty much insta-lock Rengar right now because Honori loves this champion. It's the one that he took down TSM with. We'll see if they pick it up here. And yeah, there it goes. Just like, it's like 30 seconds on the clock. 30 seconds is way too much for them.
Well, Varus is pretty much instantly picked as well. So Varus, Rengar will be the next 2 for Phoenix1. Let's see what Echo Fox have here for their last 2 picks of this first phase. Looks like Acadian's already looked in Rek'Sai for himself, so kind of picking a strong champion. And there's Jhin actually for Keith as well.
Now there's something to be said about being prepared for champion select because there's only 30 seconds for each pick. The faster you pick on your side, the less time you give your enemies to actually deliberate and speak about it. Phoenix1 now have 10 seconds to figure out what are we going to ban. Take the bans into consideration, what they want to ban next, and it might be that there they go.
Yep, there's Maokai actually for Phoenix1, so pretty standard stuff, but we are, of course, going to move into ban phase 2. So the second phase of the draft will start. Now each team will get 2 more bans apiece. Phoenix1 are going to start and actually ban Kennen, so mostly a top lane and potential flex for the solo lane and AD carry as well.
Yeah, that's true. We've seen it all about, and Kennen was played into Maokai pretty frequently the other day.
There's Orianna banned for Echo Fox though, so pretty standard mid lane ban getting taken out. Maybe trying to pinch the pool there.
Exactly, trying to pinch that pool because Syndra is already off the table. Ryze, now you have LeBlanc, Orianna. That leaves though Talia. We also have Cassiopeia. Like, it is a very large pool that they would have to pinch here.
Can be difficult, certainly, as Phoenix1. We'll see what their final ban of the draft will be here for game 1. And Thresh is actually the ban, so a very specific ban being aimed at Gate there.
I mean, if anybody knows Gate, it is his former team of Phoenix1. Just swapping over this split to Echo Fox.
Definitely an interesting targeted ban, but I mean, likely a comfort pick there for Gate. Lots of support players love their Thresh, so they'll just kind of stick one over there. And Echo Fox, what's the final ban here? It is Karma, so another support ban.
Yep. You would assume it was Karma. I was going through the support tier list, considering the mages were already taken off. They banned Thresh. You pick Karma. What happens on the other side? So now, Phoenix1, solo lane.
All right. Locked in. Okay, so pretty safe stuff here. Could be top lane for Zeke, could be mid for Ryu.
It's most likely that mid for Ryu there because they already have the Maokai locked in, unless they're going to do something really crazy and Adrian's, speaking of those large champion pools. But we'll see what ends up happening here on the opposite side. The Nautilus most likely to be taken.
Yep, it's a pretty safe pick there. And there's Tom Kench actually locked in, so been a pretty popular support.
And so the support being picked here last for Phoenix1, they very highly value having a good support matchup, and that's why they didn't pick it earlier. Despite they had the opportunity to, you could already pick your Lissandra into LeBlanc, knew that that was going to come through. And so you now get to just cap it off, know exactly what they're going to have in that bottom lane. And the support matchup, like a lot of people have been saying, is what dictates the pace of the lane early on.
Yep, you can see it looks like the final pick here will be Nami for Adrian, so gonna lock that one in and finalize a double range bottom lane here. Kind of interesting draft as everything fell through. Standard AD carries with Ashe being the only ban, so Jhin and Varus kind of make sense as nobody else wanted to ban other AD carries. Standard texting a top lane, very standard junglers, but it feels like the power's kind of weighted in Honori's hands on one side with the Rengar, and on Froggen's side on the other hand for Echo Fox with that LeBlanc.
Yeah, but we do see both teams playing to their strengths. We talked about the solo laners for Echo Fox being usually where they're going to want to play here with Acadian. Early ganking jungler with the Rek'Sai being picked up rather early. They have a shoving top laner, which will do rather well in this matchup against the Maokai. And then they have this roaming mid laner for Froggen. Froggen's problem was he didn't have enough jungle pressure to actually pressure mid laners out to give him the ability to go help bottom lane, to go help top lane last split. And now he has a champion that can help him do that, and he has an aggressive jungler that if this rookie can play with confidence on stage, could free up Echo Fox to roam about the map.
Well, we'll have to see. It looks like a decent draft for both teams. I'm sure they're happy with the picks as it comes through, but you're right. It seems like the names we expected to try and do well here do have the strong champions there. Again, Ryu, it does feel like he had to fall down to maybe not quite as strong a champion, but he'll play it safe with the Lissandra. Should be just fine.
Yeah, it's more of the counter to the LeBlanc where you can just ulti her and interrupt her move block and make sure that she can't escape and possibly blow her up. But that's level 6 onward. We're talking about team fights for that. This game is going to be focused in the early game for those junglers. Where does Acadian go? What does Inori do with this signature Rengar of his?
That's true. I mean, it was not a huge pick when he managed to take it, and upset, of course, TSM. Now it's definitely a strong meta pick, consistently banned so far in the early days of the league, and Inori's going to have to show up on a champion that everyone knows he can play. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's got a great level 3. We'll see how he affects the lanes early, but we're on the Rift.
Certainly are. Let's have a go. Here is Fox and P1 will take the Rift for our second series, I suppose, of the day, but their first game of the year.
It's our first series.
That's true. Always fun. Like you said, junglers very strong in the current metagame, so we'll have to see where those early parts go. Arcadian, he's the new guy, the young gun. Inori, I would say somewhat proven, but still wants to show just how good he is.
Well, literally, Inori has had half a split to show us what he has. We talk about NALCS rookies, he only got half a split. He didn't even get a full one to really show us what he's made of. And so now starting day one on Phoenix1, luxury he didn't have last split like I talked about, he is really hungry as well to just prove that he is a jungler that you have to deal with, that you have to put pressure on. But how do you put pressure on a Rengar?
Well, I guess we'll find out, because you can see Inori and Arcadian currently facing off against each other. Curious, Keystone Master is actually there, particularly on the Echo Fox side. Courage of the Colossus on Rek'Sai. Not that uncommon, but kind of definitely going for more of a tank play.
Yeah, the Rek'Sai is one of those utility tanks that you can play in the jungle. One of the only ones at the moment that can really utilize the Courage of the Colossus mastery that's in that top tier. But it helps her out immensely well. So just knock up, pretty much on demand. Great way to get a shield, especially when you're engaging later on in the game in team fights.
Well, we'll have to see how the starts are. Inori and Zig will team up for this red buff start. See just how much help Inori gets there from Zig. And looks like red buff start for Arcadian as well. So opposite jungle start sides here for either team, as Ara's just going to safely walk into lane. Didn't want anything too bad to happen. Been kind of hiding in their brush for a little while, but they'll start the lane push down as Gate does get a nice bit of harass there onto Adrian.
Yeah, the lane matchup in this bottom lane definitely favors P1 early on. And Gate kind of took one for the team there. He took the Tahm Kench to make sure that when Inori jumps on people, he has somebody that can deal with it. The Rengar jumps onto your Jhin, just eat him up, make sure that you're all good to go.
You can see they're trying to play nice and aggressive. Gate sacrificing some of the early health just to make sure the lane doesn't get pushed too hard here, but Adrian and Arrow should be just fine. Adrian does have the wind speakers, and I believe the ebb and flow skilled up already, so should be able to keep Arrow pretty healthy. We'll see when these next 3 creeps go down, kind of what happens in the level 2.
See, they get the push there. Level 2 will be hit about the same time. Inori, though, already on the bottom side of the map, he has gone buff to buff, and now he's picking up Scuttle Crab. Which won't get him level 3.
No, really values the vision, I guess, which is interesting, but can I go over to that Gromp side, or unless he has something really sneaky, nice blast cone usage.
It's a little strange because Rengar can clear Krugs and Raptors incredibly well with the Q and the empowered Q, but we'll talk about that in a moment here because this is Acadian, the rookie, trying to make a play.
Going in, Ryu does get a great blood, but it's not enough, still knocked up, and there's first blood for Rek'Sai.
What is it with rookies in the jungle getting first blood today? Acadian comes out on top, ganks Ryu, gets the flash out of him too, and sets up Froggen.
And we wonder where the pressure was going to go early, and pretty simple gank there through the mid lane, but does get LeBlanc the early kill. Summoner was burnt for Froggen, had to commit the ignite, but Ryu with no flash and now no teleport has to get himself back to the line.
But they're trying to sniff this out because it's a repeat game.
I love this. Ryu now going to get locked up again. No, the chain not enough. There's going to be a second. Arcadian does it again.
But Inori, he was on the side, and he's going to throw it.
Oh, ton of buffle. That's going to hurt. Inori cannot get the counter kill.
Oh! BM there from Acadian. Oh, he saw what Inori did to TSM, and Acadian's like, nope. He said he was bad. He said Inori wasn't particularly good. And now he's trying to call him out here.
Well, Froggen's here. Loop is run down as well. Hook's not going to connect. Good little dodge from Inori. And there's a bit of fun back.
NA junglers, man. High quality mechanics at BM, I will say that. But Ryu, the teleport back in, Acadian was on the top side of the map. This is actually the first one for the first blood here, where he comes through, goes back over, and they know he went off to the left side of the map. Inori checks the Raptors, sees that they're still up, and yeah, that's just a bad call there. Ryu playing way too far forward. When you TP back to lane, you TP back to those minions just to get a little bit further up in the lane, the jungler will repeat gank over and over again.
So greedy from Ryu, and it does cost him there as the first 2 kills of the game will go over to Arcadian. Bottom lane, we did see some trades back and forth, but CS and health is looking relatively even, so we'll see if this develops into anything. But Arrow, we are expecting him to be such a strong AD carry, but he doesn't have to really show up in the lane. Could be in the mid to late game, and those team fights where he really starts to shine.
Yeah, Arrow is usually about the utility, known for his Ashe, known for his Jhin. But Varus, well, it's new to the meta right now, and we'll see how he does on it, but they definitely have a little bit better lane here. It hasn't manifested itself as a CS advantage, though, and there hasn't really been pressure on this lane just yet either. No, and Froggen has certainly received those 2 assists. Maybe would have liked one of the kills, but you can see the mid and jungle here for Echo Fox just starting to exert some pressure. Arcadian getting deep wards, they're going to take jungle away, and we wondered where Arcadian's pressure was going to go. We know Froggen is a player that loves to call for help. He can do so much with it, and they've kind of both had a good start here. Can't wait to see the synergy and kind of how this develops in the game. Exactly, and that's the thing is Froggen, it's like he needs his jungler to kind of camp for him a little bit. It wasn't working out last split when they kept having to like swap junglers a little bit. Non-aggressive junglers were coming in, and now they just have a guy who was known as like playing Rengar all the time, converted top laner, I believe, from about 1.5 years ago, but still played things like Rengar up top. So Acadian, very aggressive, but Inori trying to punish.
Yeah, another tunnel buffer. Inori can chase here. Ryu looking for something. No ulti, going to lock it down. W's there for the snare. Inori looking to follow in. Leaps in, but Froggen's going to try and turn around. Arcadian stands his ground and fights him, but Inori is going to leap back in. And now Froggen, where can he go? Arrow forced to fight. Keith flashes after him. Froggen took out Inori on the other side, but Arrow is looking to go down. Keith able to take him out, and now Ryu's going to try and run away. Froggen, can he keep it going? Needs to move forward, but no ulti's probably no hope. It's just the 1-for-1.
Yeah, and on the other side of the map, though, Arrow does get taken down. So, overall, Echo Fox, I believe they come up with a 2-for-1 across the map.
Looking good. Looper, the zoning hook perhaps, but still pushing up in a zig, and has certainly been winning that last trade by the looks of things. They're gonna drink his health potion and should be okay clearing those out. We tend not to see too much in the tank v tank matchup. Of course, look for those first teleports to really show us how the players are looking.
You get the shove advantage. They'll try to roam a little bit. We saw Looper roam down to the bottom side, and the Nautilus has a bit of a leg up in that. Also the fact that he has a Dark Seal now to help him out with the potions, but also give him a little bit more AP on top of it. Good by Ryu to come over and help. Nori has the bush there, so Acadian can't really get away, and the flashes are down. Good jump back in here from Nori, but then he actually got hit by the chain there. That was something that Ryu, it looked like he was trying to block, but it just snapped to Inori, and that was his demise there because Inori threw out the bola and got the root. Didn't go for the extra damage, was trying to keep the LeBlanc in one place. They thought they could finish her. Nope.
Nice trade there, certainly, but kind of good of Arcadian to know that I'm probably dead. I'm going to stand and help Froggen, who did manage to get the kill back. Inori now going to do a bit more of his own jungle. Arcadian's left this side of the map. He will take the Gromp down. Not 6 just yet, but still kind of working toward the next layer of experience. And after that kill down bottom lane, Keith and Gate looking pretty good here. BF swords have been purchased already by the AD carry, so parity as far as the items go, although Boots extra for Keith isn't too bad. But we maybe expected some pressure here. So far it's just been 2v2, and the kill for Fox there is nice as well.
Yeah, and you're expecting when level 6s come out that there will be some attention into the bottom lane from Inori and possibly Arrow trying to set something up. But you do always have to pay attention to the fact that there's a top Kench. It's very difficult to make plays on this bottom lane because of that.
Well, that's a nice looking trade there. Keith will get scooped up to safety though by Gate as Ryu gets himself the blue buff. Inori going to continue jungling away. Ryu's going to go pretty safely over the wall to clear this all out. And Froggen certainly got the shove advantage now. Does have his Ignite and the flash back and ready. We'll see if he does start roaming and influence other areas, or maybe teams up again with Arcadian, trying to find Inori.
They know that Inori was on that side, though. Acadian saw him with the Tremor Sense. They know that he's making a play towards bottom, so you'll see bottom lane back up a little bit there.
Ooh, might get caught here. Oh no, he's got the pink ward. He's going to bait him, and now Inori going to get locked down. Teleport's going to be committed here. Gate's actually looking for Adrian down the bottom side. Scoops him up, but Keith knocked up by a bubble at the end. Now TP'd up for P1. Gate will take out Adrian, but Ryu's down here as well to take down Keith. Arrow still fighting away as best he can, and Gate has to run for it. Zig and Lupa have joined the party. Dominant Norris trying to get some damage back. Lupa is going to get crushed down. There's a double kill for Ryu. Arcadian still trying to fight it out, but Froggen goes in. Killed arrows to Inori as Arcadian takes it down. Now Ryu trying to get his way out to safety. Froggen a little low as Gates bits one out, but there's a double kill for Zig. Froggen needs to keep running. Gets locked down. That should be enough, and there's the ace for Phoenix1.
And now it's equal in kills, 6-6 after that. Still a little bit of lead for Echo Fox, but P1 back into this game.
Wonderful, bloodthirsty game here. It's not even been 10 minutes, Irene. And we already have our first ace in the series. Great counter TPs there. A mess of a fight as we're going to watch this one again.
It's just skirmishing happening all over the map here, and it's definitely a little bit of a better composition for P1 to do that. They have Lysandra, they have Rengar, you have all of these guys that kind of want to scrap a bit. Looper actually comes in with ultimate, and he never gets to use it here, so he just gets locked up there. Great from Ryu to use the ultimate on him, not safe for the LeBlanc, because it ends up being the most value because the CC is off the table now. Gate then tries to take out Ryu. Not enough damage yet with the W, and Zig with his W up just barely. Yeah, Looper TP'd into that fight. Ulti and Flash, and apparently didn't get either of them off, just blocked up.
Yeah, the other side for Zig did so much work in that team fight on Malco. He's already a strong team fighting tank, and Lupa dying instantly. They kind of just won the fight automatically. Lupa going to push his way up. Zig's going to walk his way back to lane, but evening up that gold almost, and as you said, evening up the kills.
Yeah, and evening up a lot of this score because Ryu, 0-2 before that fight. He's sitting at four kills right now. Well, picked up one a little bit before that as well, but still, the fact that he was 0-2 at one point in this game, and now he's 4-2-2, 100% KP for Ryu, it's like this guy was getting bullied, and now he's finally back on top.
And Abyssal set the done means that P1 actually feel confident maybe starting this Infernal Drake that will back away, so that they weren't getting that one without being spotted. So Echo Fox keeping on top of that vision as Ryu maybe looking for a pick here. Froggen as well off to the side. Mid laners can certainly lock someone down.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of power in both these mid laners, and the fact that Ryu is up a level already, just a little bit in CS here, or a little bit down in CS. That's the thing that's surprising to me is he was 0-2, didn't get the wave frozen on him, wasn't like, oh, this game's over, go next, because the Lysandra apparently claws her way back in off of roaming, making TP plays, having this ability to pick people off, and that's what the P1 competition is great at, is having small individual skirmishes in different places, but also pick. Everybody on this team has some form of CC, all 5 members of them are able to lock somebody up, but they also have ways to get around and traverse the map quickly.
Well, other than that, first Abyssal set, so the items aren't really looking too hot just yet as everyone's finishing kind of that first major item here. Big Infernal Drake up for grabs as well, so despite the early ace, both teams are still trying to get a foothold here on the map. Echo Fox up in gold by 1,000, which is nice, but P1 with a convincing team fight win after that big scrappy skirmish. CU kind of takes that first major fight at the objective, and I'm expecting some sort of action around the Infernal Drake, although right now, teams again confined to their lanes, just trying to farm it up and kind of reach a point where they feel comfortable pulling the trigger on some sort of big engage.
And it's going to depend on where the ward placement is as well and who can actually sneak in. Because you can see Echo Fox, there's a lot on the top side jungle here, but P1 have more wards allocated to the bottom side and a little bit of that control in river. So Inori, he'll feel more comfortable with this Rengar just going towards that bottom side in a little bit, or they're going to get Zig to place something here, find Acadian, maybe make a play off of this knowledge.
Looks like Inori's actually roaming up towards the area as well. Looks like he just pops the ward in and leaves though, so for now, P1 are trying to cover that side of the map. Froggen back to mid lane. Will clear out what he can. Looking good here on the LeBlanc. Does have the Abyssal finished up now as well. So a bit of extra power, despite all the kills Ryu did just get.
And Ryu's up already 600 gold on top of Froggen. Didn't go down in the CS deficit off of the 2 kills. He even blew his TP at the beginning of the game after the first kill just to die again. And now he's completely recovered off of these fights. So P1, instead of slow bleeding, they just kept going for skirmishes, and it's been working out for them now. Just 700 gold down, but Echo Fox still have that lead.
Well, it seems like the pressure subsided a bit here as Arcadian was really in P1's face. He was mid lane, then aggressively moving into Inori's jungle, trying to keep tabs on him, but after the fight, kind of has to back off a bit.
Yeah, he's got 1,000 gold up over Inori, but it's a Rek'Sai that didn't go for the Tiamat clear first. It looks like he might be going into that next here. But how do you transition that gold as Rek'Sai? You aren't really blowing people up. You're just tankier.
Good catch potentially. Ryu locked up, but he's got some friends behind him, so Froggen can't commit for an all-in, and Lasanda with an ult. He's pretty hard to lock down. Arrow zoning some away. Tells just get a tap there onto Keith. Nice little chain there for Froggen, looking for it again. Second chain lands in. Ryu still has the ulti. Doesn't even pull it. Perfectly safe for now.
Yeah, he may get the teleport out of Ryu here. You can see Zig is roaming down because he shoved out the top wave. It's actually a pretty good timing for him to do so. Finds out where Acadian is. That gives the Inori the okay on the other side of the map to try and make a play or try to at least counter this, so he gets control of the bot side. And that's the TP back from Ryu, too.
Yep, does go back to mid lane. Not unsafe this time. Seems 11 as well, so level 2 ulti is nice. Froggen with a nice bit of poke, though. Kind of a no Ryu as he's just gotten back to lane. But again, teams again moving around looking for the break, and P1 will start it again.
Yep, they know Acadian's on the top part of the map. They know that blue buff will be up shortly on their side, and Ryu
again needs to pull the ulti, does finally move it, and P1's going to teleport in for this. Now moving around, trying to force a fight. Gate's coming up as well. Tidal waves out. Who's he going to land on? No one just yet as Gate does it. Keep in time. And to get him under the safety of the turret, P1 blow a couple cooldowns straight back to Infernal Drake.
Yeah, only problem here is that Froggen, it'll be hard for him to contest this Infernal Drake because of the fact that he doesn't have enough mana to really make a large impact here. Maybe blow one combo. If that's enough, then it'll be worth it. Here comes the Looper teleport, and they're using the Mimic.
Din ulti as well. Dragon does go over P1. Are they going to lose anything here? Zig straight to the front lines, locks down Looper. Last bullet from Keith's not bad. Varus ulti missing from Arrows. Acadian's kind of got a flank hook. Lands in onto Zig, and now Acadian's on the other side. Looks for Arrows. Froggen dives in, but he gets exhausted. That's going to be him taken down as Ryu manages to get it. Ult's going to knock up Adrian. He dives down as Arrow goes down as well. Ryu now caught up. Blast code's very nice. And now he's under the safety of his turret. Fox aren't going to chase it.
Yep, 2 for 2 in the overall there, so still very even game.
Seems like there's some trades there. P1 do get the Drake out of the deal, so a little bit extra on that objective, but we'll see if Fox can do anything else. Looks like they'll just catch this wave as that's pushed back in, and we'll have yet another even fight here.
Back to farming for a little bit, and then they'll be back to looking for those picks. And this was, once again, a fight that Echo Fox, they're trying to stop the Drake. Acadian looking for a way to get over and possibly steal it, so he ends up on the back side of the fight here. And then P1, they get split as well. They all decide to go different directions, so it's a 3-on-3 on this right side, and then a 2-on-1 on the left, actually, because Looper turns and makes the right decision here. Actually just sack the fight on the left side, not go for the Rengar and the Maokai, and instead try to lock down some members. So good target selection there from Looper to make the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, ulti, I think Ryu kind of killed Adrian there by flashing in front of him. So perhaps not too happy there. Another good little scuffle. Let's keep actually in the top half of the map. Good damage onto Ryu, but again with the ultimates not feeling too much pressure. Looks like Protobot up for Ryu. So we'll have a bit of extra help, but of course some extra burst once he completes that. Fox though looking to rotate here at top lane. Going to make a first real move for an objective for themselves here, and looks like they should be able to get it, although Race is on in bottom lane as Arrow's going to work on the turret, so it looks like it'll just be a trade, but it will be Fox getting that first bit of extra gold from that turret, but it is answered swiftly in bottom lane.
Yep, and it's also spread out across multiple members here, but they have the tempo, so they get to make a play and keep shoving. They may get damage on this tier 2.
A couple of caster creeps, and they die quickly, so not much there as far as offensive pressure goes. Fox though are looking to kind of get some wards down, take a bit more space for themselves where they can, and oh, Ryu gets caught. Oh, he's going to follow, but that's all counted out by Ryu's ultimate on himself. Looping out, going to get himself knocked up. There's a good eat there from Gabe, protects him from Zig. Froggen, now CC it on the other side, going to get jumped up, but he leaps away. Zig very tanky though, just going to keep the rest of Fox out of it. No one down this time, but yet another aggressive engage.
Yep, and it just seems to be whoever has the tempo start trying to make a play in the enemy jungle, get control of it. Both teams understand that, and now they rotate to mid here off of a minion wave that's been shoved in. Ryu, no teleport, no way to get back here, and he's their primary source of wave clear alongside the Varus. So this turret will take a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, Arrow doing what he can. They do clear the initial wave out pretty quickly, and Arrow going to start throwing Qs down the line. And will actually take out the rest of the wave. Looks like Farm is on the mind for Froggen as per usual. Going to duck down bottom lane and get that wave pushing in his favor. And Gate having some fun with Keith, I think, there, swallowing him up. But it looks like everyone's going to go back and buy. And we have had some reasonable item purchases made as well. Infinity Edge is done for Keith, Essence Reaver done for Arrow, and those first major tank items being the Spirit Visage up for Zig and Looper. So again, these teams have really fought a lot in the early game, and they're starting to get stronger. And I have to say, I love it. 16 kills already in a 19-minute game. That's the kind of League of Legends I like.
As a play-by-play caster, I totally understand that. But oh, hold on.
Oh, that looks like bad news, Bears. Little too much there for Froggen.
Instantly deleted there, but that's what they were looking for into the LeBlanc. That's why Phoenix1 were saying, you can take LeBlanc first pick as long as we get Rengar, because this is a very comfortable pick for Inori, that even if the early game doesn't go well, he still knows how to just make these picks and be not where you expect. So if you don't get cheese during the early game, like Acadian said, he'll cheese your mid laner if he's on the side.
Happy to do it at 19 minutes instead. And I think playing to Froggen's tendencies there as well. He's really been hanging out in brushes, trying to poke Dead Rio a lot, and he was punished there.
They're trying to push them off this turret by making a flank and having the threat of the Lissandra and the Rengar. So the ultimate there for the Rengar is blown to get turret damage there. They were hoping for the whole thing. They didn't end up getting it, but it's enough damage that another one could possibly end up in that mid turret going down.
Good play, but the minion wave not being there or not lasting long enough means that it will stay up for now. And you can see both teams that have some side lane turrets, but these mid turrets are the very valuable ones when they're trying to open the game up, especially at this time. Rift Herald is gone, so he won't see an appearance today, at least in this game. And again, teams having to deal with these long lanes that have been created means that they will have to bounce the waves expertly. And despite all the attempts at starting something here, we have a Drake up in just over a minute. We've got those mid lane turrets that are kind of prime as well, and Baron is also starting to become in play. So I don't imagine the pace is going to dip too much, but the teams are certainly looking for the correct engage.
Yeah, what's going to happen here is you're going to see a 1-3-1 happen with the 2 teleports from P1, because these are unanswerable teleports. At least one of them is. So if the LeBlanc, if Froggen is trying to match Ryu on the bottom side like he is right now, there's a possibility he gets ganked again by Inori. So Inori needs to kind of stay out of vision until he is definitely going to make a play, because he could be top ganking the Nautilus, he could be bot making a play there, or he could be in the middle trying to actually engage on the siege. So it'll be a 3-on-3 in the mid lane unless the LeBlanc joins, sacks the bottom lane, but now she's on a timer. Can you clear this wave and deal damage to this turret before there is threat on your bottom turret?
Ooh,
They're taking a play top.
Tower could be a problem. Zig does leap onto Looper. Now Inori's going to follow in with a snare. Looper does go back to his turret. He's going to ulti one back in, but Inori's not in turret range. Zig is just tanking it forever, and Looper cannot lift to it all. That's not good news, but Zig, he gets the kill, and Inori gets out.
That had to use the W, but it swaps to Inori. No problem there. Now there's pressure on the top side and the bottom side of the map for P1. They have the tempo on the top. They could go after the turret. They can come into flank, so this siege is a little bit of a bait, but you see right there, as soon as they back off, Zig goes back to top lane.
And I like the rotation mid there from Fox, but pressure from Ryu and a nice answering gank in the top lane does give P1 momentum back. It really has been some small exchanges as far as map control has gone so far, but both teams playing very crisp and maybe even setting something up here in the top lane as well. Zig's got a nice cannon wave to try and do a good chunk of damage here, and with no one to answer it, I think that may just go down.
Yep, you had to be careful though as well, because there's that tendency for some top laners to be like, I need to TP and save it, but they have no idea where Inori is. So if he TP's back in, it could be what happened to Ryu around level 3.
Well, looks like a couple more members of P1 will move up towards the top lane, so they're going to look for any stragglers. Echo Fox smartly just giving it up. Looper is there, but he's playing very far back.
Yeah, and he blew his flash previously, so trying to pick on him a little bit there, but P1 definitely playing the map rather well right now, and it's honestly because they have the 1-3-1 composition with the double teleport, they get the ability to do so. The LeBlanc is not being that impactful at the moment.
And look, you know, Ryu did have a rough start, certainly with those 2 early ganks coming in, but has redeemed himself with that strong pre-10-minute team fight. I will say, I think Zig might be the hero right now. 4-0-3 on the Maokai, has had excellent coverage as far as where he's supposed to be on the map, and that initial TP really got Ryu the kills he needed to get back into the game.
And Zig is a fantastic tank top player. Like, we were talking about, this is a good barometer for Looper and how he operates, because they're going to play tanks against each other, so it's how you coordinate with your team. And Zig definitely has a leg up over Looper on this team, because he's worked with Inori before. He's been playing with these guys for a bit. Phoenix1 did do a Korean boot camp back in December. And so they're very serious about winning this split or placing and going to playoffs, because they missed out on it last split. And Zig has been talking last split about how he didn't think he was a good teammate when he first started his League of Legends career. He's been working on that. And it's really strange because he's like the nicest guy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, just trying to be the best teammate possible. But 4-0-3 on Maokai could have been 007.
Could have been. Damn you, Zig, stealing all these kills. Well, I'm still, he'll take it. at this point is P1. Gonna give the red buff over to Inori. Actually looking quite strong himself. He's gonna pop the ulti. He's looking for something. Looks like Froggen could be on the menu. Ryu here as well, ready to lock him down. Froggen's gonna dash his way out. Inori's found him, and Froggen has to get his way out. There's a flash follow, but the chain has landed. Gates here as well. Everyone's coming through, and now they're gonna turn it around. Inori gonna get himself locked down, but he will escape. Redemption pop for a bit of extra healing as Ryu. Maybe get himself out of waves there. No, it's okay. A bit of extra movement speed there as Arrow does take down the Jhin.
And you saw as they were trying to make that play, Zig chases Looper down the lane. No teleport for you. No getting into that fight.
Uh-oh, Adrian though popped up there. Fox with another kill back. Arcadian with the Hydra takes one out.
Exactly what he needed to do there. He got that pick. The flash out of Arrow.
Better flash Arrow. Oh, Looper almost gets it. Blast going out to safety, but Fox, I think, straight onto Baron.
Yeah, they are actually going to go and attempt this Baron there. There's a control ward right there that sees Froggen.
Hi. Uh-oh.
I guess they're just baiting the teleport out.
Well, they got it. Zig gonna flash in though. Gate eats him up. Not much of that's enough. Safety. Ryu's here. Has to flash in there. Looks for Gate. Locks him down. He's gonna get the support. The chains maybe enough to get Froggen out of the way. Inori trying to chase him down as Ryu will take out the Tom Kench. P1. Nice defense there. And Fox not too sure about the Baron call there.
It was mostly to get the teleport out of Zig, I would assume. Like,
oh,
control ward right there.
Looper, very nice. Looking to lock one down. Arrow does have his ulti. He needs to kind of make it happen. Use it at the last minute as Arrow will get himself ulted up by Nautilus. Zig here as well to cover. Now going to move back in. There's a shutdown though for Keith as he takes down Lysandra. And now Arrow kind of getting jumped by Arcadian, who's doing a ton of damage. And Ori jumps in as well to zone away Froggen, and Arcadian gets his way out. No, Arrow snipes him on the other end.
Zig with the W is still roots. He didn't even go after him. It didn't put him over the wall, but Arrow follows up, and now the mid turret is going to go down. And this is the most important turret for both of these team competitions because it's the one that you have to stop the siege on against the most number of people at a time. So now that P1, they have the double teleports. Of course, they're down right now, but the fact that now they can siege 3 against 4 in mid and have a longer lane that the enemy has to push down, it's really good for the composition, and it opens up the roaming from mid lane as well.
Well, it all started here, but a great ulti from Gate kind of turned this one around. And Nori gets out, but the fight will continue.
Yeah, the wave there as well wasn't perfect, but it was enough to stop them from advancing. Ryu ends up getting the kill. They start picking up Keith, and now Acadian. Control ward, sometimes you feel like you have to kill them. He didn't get it. He didn't even get it.
Not worth. And there's that control ward that started it all. Echo Fox going to take it out this time. And do have exclusive vision over the Baron as that second control ward goes down as well. Gate assists him out of the Baron pit. And Acadian's going to get himself back towards his left side of the jungle. And Infernal Drake is coming up in a number of minutes. Not quite there yet. P1 do have those 2 Drakes as well. So it does feel like despite how chaotic this game has been, P1 are coming out ahead in so many little exchanges and kind of keeping themselves up here about 2,000 gold plus the 2 Drakes is actually huge 27 minutes in.
Exactly. And the fact that they're up in gold again, like they had to claw back from honestly a very demoralizing early game where you lose your summoners in mid lane and you go down 0-2. And Inori kind of using this for vision at the same time, trying to track them down.
Ooh, Ryu gets himself over. Arcadian locked up. He's going to jump in on him. Gate though. Easy exit, and Zig was trying to dive in there as well, but a nice chain from Froggen keeps him back there. Don't forget P1 do have 3 turrets strong, which at this point is actually a significant advantage geographically. P1 just have so much more space to move with, and Echo Fox are really just responding as best they can right now.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen for a little while longer here, because P1 are going to move as 5, possibly have one person go off into the side lane and shove when needed, but they're going to wait until their teleports are back up on Zig and Ryu. Luckily, they're synced, so it won't be too much longer where they have to kind of play for vision around this area. So right now, P1's like, protect the Baron area, make sure nothing funny happens here, protect mid lane, don't lose this turret. Of course, very low, so it'd be hard to do, and wait for those teleports to come back up so they can start playing the map again.
Well, low is not dead, and keeping it alive is at least annoying for Echo Fox, if nothing else. As you can see, Ryu's just making sure he clears another wave, but I don't expect him to overextend too much. Froggen's actually behind him, but Ryu pretty confident 1v1. Does have a Zhonya's and his ultimate now, and is almost rank 3 for the Frozen Tomb as well. So Froggen, yeah, he doesn't really fancy much here. He's going to have to play back and take the farm as it pushes back in the top lane. And P1, a very safe Baron start here.
Yep. Baron gets started up. Looper on the bottom side. His teleport is actually still a few seconds away before Looper can come in here.
Nice wave, looking for Keith. He's going to have to cancel the ulti. Ryu's over the top, and Acadian
Gate.
Try and lock him down. Now Inori's looking onto Gate. Gate flashes the wall, but Inori follows him through. Arrow almost snipes him with the Varus ulti.
Sapling!
Sapling, not enough.
Not quite. Varus ulti also missed, like you said there, but that's, I believe that's to try and get the TP out of Looper because he's on the bottom side of the map, but his teleport wasn't up. If you can get the TP out of the Nautilus and then just run 1-3-1 for P1, that's the ideal situation. Whereas for Echo Fox, LeBlanc is actually about 1,500 gold down. And you're sitting there going, how did this happen? We tried to set her up for the early game, and it's just been these kills. These roams have been helping Ryu out so much. The point that now Froggen has to try to find a way to kill Arrow when he's building magic resistance now too.
Yeah, credit to Zig again as Ryu actually getting himself chased here. Inori is the bait. Arcadian lockdown, but Luca with a nice hook forces Ryu's ultimate. Inori going to try and get it down, but they're looking for something. Zig could run problems. Now he's going to try and zone them away. Keeps just hitting him. That's not doing anything as Arcadian blocked down there as well. Lufa taking a decent amount of damage, but Arcadian wants into the backline. He'll get thrown down, and Zig is doing everything. Froggen dives to the back and takes out Adrian, takes out Ryu as well, and they're going to lock down Zig. Echo Fox turn it all around. There's a triple kill for Froggen.
And that's going to be the Baron on top of it too. Unless Inori can make a hero steal. He does have flash. He does have his ultimate available.
There's the ulti. He's going to start it. Ooh, Sky's Bloom. Doesn't go for it once. Froggen instead. That's a little greedy. He's going to get chained up here. Nice W to get out from under the first root. Jin, though, locks him down, and Echo Fox to be able to get this Baron. Inori just can't get back in now.
Yeah, that's enough damage to actually dissuade him, and they're following him all around the map. And Echo Fox back in the lead.
And we talked about it. Froggen, this player that needs a bit of help to get things going. But when he does, it looks a little like this.
Yeah, it was the chip down here just over and over again. A little bit of damage. Arrow can't do much in this fight. Him and Adrian are both rather low mana. And then Froggen, you watch him here. He's on the left side. Acadian gets not a knock up there. But Arrow flashed away. Froggen sits in the bush. Flash distortion into 3 people. Ryu proto melts backwards. Back in, and that's going to be the triple kill right there. Froggen with backline access, the flash distortion, perfect.
And you know, Zig, I talked about it. Took a lot to kill him.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, Froggen found the window in for the flank, and that was more than enough to wipe that team fight and give Echo Fox the gold lead in the game. And with the Baron up as well, Infernal Drake will be up in 1 minute and 5. Have to think they've got plenty of objectives to take now, and I think maybe most importantly, equalize that turret score and get themselves further and further ahead.
Yeah, and now we see Froggen back in the lead in terms of gold, about 700 up for himself. And that's huge. He is a big carry for them. We're talking about the laners here for Echo Fox, with Looper on a tank and being a little bit more in the department of helping out with the CC being a frontliner. Froggen and Keith, it's really on them to carry, and you can even tell Keith's trying to get his carry pants on because that's an Infinity Edge instead of going for, we've seen the Jin build where you go Youmu's into Infinity. We've seen the build where you go for the Essence Reaver. This just means he's looking for that early damage. It's his first item as well. And now with the Lord Dominic's regards as his 3rd item, it's basically like the Maokai couldn't really do anything to him. Time to get some armor penetration.
Well, looking good there as Echo Fox looking for another big, but P1 smartly staying away from a Baron-empowered Fox. And Drake will be up soon, but they want a turret instead. Like we said, those are the important objectives to get, particularly when you have the buff that helps you siege. Arrow, though, able to push that out. And Ryu actually just off to the side. Maybe trying to find an angle around, but Echo Fox is going to do this the easy way. They're going to take the Drake and then move down to the bottom lane and just going to equalize all the outer turrets that P1 already have.
The fact that they get this Infernal Drake and it doesn't fall over to P1 as a second one is huge for Echo Fox to stop P1 from getting back into this game. They have the Baron, and now they have the ability to shove up towards that tier 2 turret, and with Looper having priority on the top side, it's going to have to get answered by this Lissandra.
I mean, for all the double TP split pushing that P1 could do, it's very difficult or maybe impossible or close to with the Baron up as well.
Yes, so what they're doing is they're actually going back and forth between where they have cannon minions and where they have strong waves. Arrow has to sit mid, spend a lot of hits on killing those minions and pushing them out, but they end up delivering a wave to the top side, get that turret down, and now they're going to try to do that with the mid and possibly mid-bottom like they just did.
And you can see this lead is really growing out. 4,000 gold up now for Fox. They, I think, almost doubled the lead they had after they won that first fight they got from the Baron, and they're going to keep taking turrets here. So P1, who looked pretty in control of this game, have actually lost control pretty swiftly.
Yep, and now this turret's going to take damage. Looper on the bottom side shoving that wave in, but it's going to be on hard engage here because Inori He's on the bottom side of the map. There are a decent amount of wards here covering the direction. You could see right where LeBlanc is. There's a lot of control wards down this area to the river where it's so hard to actually flank and get in as the Rengar. So now Fox are going to try to take control of this part of the jungle to go between mid and bottom and try to get another turret off of that.
Yeah, Loop is going to comfortably take that bottom outer by himself, and maybe the team will join him. See if they can't do extra damage. Looks like Baron buff has dropped off though, so extra power taken away. Looper has plenty of space to just punch the turret to death. And looks like Zig's not going to make it in time to save it. So all told, pretty big Baron power play. 4 turrets to 3 now in favor of Echo Fox, and that big gold lead there as well, as he really is taking his time. Nautilus does not do things quickly, that's for sure.
I say shout out to the camera right now. Shout out to our observers.
He did it.
Followed me as I was talking about the wards. They knew exactly what I was talking about. Entertainment value on top of it. They got everything. Welcome to the end of LCS 2017.
2017. It's going to be a good year as Arcadian takes down the Wolfcamp. Froggen looking much healthier than before. 3 damage items with another one in the works with the extra Fiendish Codex on top of the Void Staff, Abyssal, and Ludens. We talked about Keith already. QSS and those 3 damage items are looking good. And Zig, he was very far ahead as far as tank items go. Lupe has equalized that as well. So again, it is going to come down to kind of those next big fights. Fox will have an advantage going into the next one, but P1 have shown that team fighting wise, looking pretty crisp as well. So going to need at least one big objective to try and open up this game.
Yeah, and maybe it's that Baron that comes back up. You know, it'll be about 3 minutes at this point, I would imagine. And I was just looking at the items, and QSS also purchased for Froggen, making sure he doesn't get locked up by the LeBlanc. And this game, like you can see, just been back and forth, hills and valleys all throughout. But people are now buying items like the lockets coming through for Zig, because Adrian is actually going to go for what I believe is going to be Mikhail's here, so that they have a way to get out of CC. Everybody's just looking for ways to stay alive, to get healed, make sure that these burst assassins don't just blow them up with the LeBlanc or the Lissandra.
It was Zig. They found Keeper. Gate eats him. That's good, but the teleport's coming in from Looper. Tidal Wave, who's going to keep moving through, and Gate's taking a good chunk of damage. Arcadian in there as well. So Ryu's going to get knocked up, and Zig goes into the air as well. Adrian eating damage as Froggen, looking for another flank. He's found his way around. Needs to go back in, but gets himself exhausted. Keith goes down to Sonori. Does able to take him down. Ryu just launches himself into the team. Arrow's going to get the shot down, and P1 looking to clean up the team fight. Looper sniped down there as well for his GA. Arcadian's got one, but he doesn't have it for long. Arrow is going to flash his way back towards him, and that 3 Qs already make it for as Looper goes down, and Arcadian's the only one left alive. He'll be safe, but P1, huge team fight win there.
Absolutely huge. They'll get this mid turret. They're going to get at least an inhibitor turret off of this as well. And look at that. And Orion Rengar, I mean, this is his baby. This is his champion. And he comes up huge in that team fight.
We talked about it being one big moment to open things up. This inhibitor's going to fall, and P1 aren't done. They're going to rush in and try and finish the game.
Barely any wave clear. They have a lot of damage with multiple AD characters here. The TP coming through as well. Arcadian's going to try to stop it.
Got to do something, but it's not quite enough. Adrian's still alive, and Arcadian doing what he can. Gate moves his way back in, but Arcadian gets locked down. Adrian does fall on the other side, and Gate's there for defense. P1. They got one turret, but that wasn't the Nexus.
It's a necessary sacrifice from Arcadian. He made the right play there to try to disrupt. If you're damaging the Rek'Sai, of course you're not damaging the turret, so it takes longer. There's 19 seconds before they have Baron back up here, and it'd be very difficult because it's a Rek'Sai with ultimate to actually go for the Baron and try to get it before he's back up. You have a very small window to do so. And this is just really good because Zig with the flank comes through. W has to be used on him from Gate, flash out, and then he still gets knocked up, so Keith has to flash as well. The Redemptions come down into the middle of the fight, and now you can see Inori just hanging off on the side, building up. He even used an air Q there just to get a root onto Gate, and then he jumps in, kills Gate and Keith with one swing, and hold on.
We're at it again. Gate locked up, and he's looking to go down. Keith's down, but Zig's on top of him. That's going to be a crushing takedown as Ryu actually goes down on the other side. Keith lives for a little while longer as arrows still firing away. Froggen down for the double as Zig takes that one down. Rek'Sai zooms into the fight as Gate's going to get himself chased. Annoying now dominating, gets another, and Looper just can't get out here. The wave's down as well, and there's another 4 kills for P1.
And that most likely is game here with P1 having no inhibitor in this lane. They're going to try to go for the win.
They are going to go for it here, and Arcadian is trapped all the way back into the top lane, and Nori just straight onto it. Going to sacrifice himself for a bit of extra damage here. He's got a GA. He can live for a little while longer. And P1, they're going to see what they can do. And Nori still tanking. It does go down on Arcadian. He just can't get in. Phoenix1 going to turn their arrows towards the Nexus and take it down. Back-to-back fights and a great game one.
A turbulent game, but P1 come out on top. Crazy start.
Certainly crazy, action-packed all the way around. Almost 40 kills in that game, and it was 38 minutes long. We were actually pretty much a kill a minute as far as that went. And P1, we talked about just how chaotic and how scrappy that game was going. It felt like in the moments, in the times where they needed to be together and have those team fights, they just seemed a bit more practiced.
Yeah, just a bit more over Echo Fox there. The Korean boot camp seemed to kind of play out in that game one. They were able to rotate very effectively between the lanes when they wanted to get an advantage. But Echo Fox also showed that they do have a mastery as well. When they had the Baron buff, they knew how to play it slow and play for those lanes, play for those tier 2 turrets correctly. And I gotta say though, it was kind of Ryu and the fact that Inori was on Rengar that really sealed the deal on this game, because they got backline access in those later fights where Keith and also Gate, didn't matter you had a Tom Kench, they were still getting blown up.
And Froggen, you know who's trying to get in and do stuff, but clutch exhaust from Adrian as well, I will say. They kind of learnt their lesson after that one big team fight flank.
Takes one time.
Almost got Echo Fox, winning that game effectively. So I think you can see that the same team is still there for Echo Fox. They are methodical. I do like seeing them a bit more kind of pepped up and taking a bit more action, but P1 again, just a little cleaner in that first game.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was a much faster game for Echo Fox in terms of tempo early. It just felt like they didn't know exactly what to do with that leader, how to punish hard enough from the mid lane there. It didn't manifest in a CS advantage, but there were 2 kills that went over to Acadian early, and then it didn't really get off the ground, and it just ended up falling to P1 skirmishes.
Well, it was certainly a lot of fun, but for a breakdown on that win from Phoenix1, we are going to send it over to the analysts.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Phoenix1 picking up the first victory here of the series. And I want to get to that point that Zyrene was making about the mid lane and those early kills secured by Fox, but not till after we take a look at Champion Select, because here we see Phoenix1 crafting a pretty intelligent Champion Select here, opting to not go for what are, at this point, very early on in our 2017 competitive season, seen as the standard red side bans.
Yeah, I mean, the standard red side bans, you pretty much always see LeBlanc, Rengar, Camille. That's like the norm, right? You ban the super OPs, don't let them first pick it. But this is something that I've been kind of wanting to see as some innovation. They leave up the Rengar, they leave up the LeBlanc, and I think this is something that really Echo Fox wasn't super expecting. And because of that, Phoenix1 had crafted answers for either side of it, right? If they take LeBlanc, you're going to take Maokai and Lissandra, and you have to assume that they have answers if they're going to be taking the Rengar too. Plus, you have Ryu who's comfortable on the Assassin and LeBlanc, and you have Inori who's a Rengar specialist. So I think it was a super intelligent draft, and a lot of props to them for that.
Yeah, I mean, aided by the fact that they do have players on their rosters that can very much play those champions at a high level, so they'll be happy taking either. And then, as you mentioned, okay, Rengar falls into our hands, but we have the counters for this very powerful LeBlanc that we handed over. But let's go ahead and now talk about what happened early in the game before we get to some replays. We're going to talk about this Acadian coming out and being aggressive with those early ganks mid, getting the flash and the kill, and then the return gank. Yet it didn't net that large of a lead for Froggen.
Yeah, and I mean, it's brutal because this is exactly the kind of start they needed. They needed Froggen to get ahead. They needed him to be able to roam and kind of take over the map in the early mid game, because it's too hard to fight on LeBlanc in these team fights, I feel, in the late game. And Acadian, true to his word, was aggressive, but it didn't pan out.
Right, yeah, so the 2 early kills going to him. LeBlanc not really able to establish much of a CS lead there. Then we go ahead and jump to this Dragon fight, which is going to be our first replay. Phoenix1 completely turning the tide to this game, picking up 4 kills.
I mean, this was after Ryu had just died twice, so the fight starts off pretty well. P1 is going to lose someone there, but they all come into the fight. They're all able to collapse. Ryu is here. Looper TPs, he kind of walks in by himself. You can see Froggen has not yet arrived to the fight, and when he does arrive, he's not really able to get that much done. So it just looked like some kind of poor coordination here, some miscommunication as they were kind of coming in one at a time, and it really let Ryu get right back into the game, because Ryu gets 3 kills off that. He's able to be ahead of Froggen after that point when they had put their whole game plan into getting him ahead.
Right, exactly.
Getting behind, rather.
I like what you mentioned here in terms of kind of the sloppiness of the fight, right?
Yeah.
In that we did have maybe some late TPs. Froggen's not all the way over there, so neither of these teams 100% in position. And this was kind of a theme throughout the game, that while, these teams might look like better, renditions of their summer split rosters, there's obviously still some kinks to work out here. Let's jump to our next replay, 35 minutes into the game. This is a P1 fight here, kind of near the Dragon, or Baron Pit, rather.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one where Froggen was able to come up big. And you can see the backline kind of grouping up a little bit here. Ryu and Adrian and Arrow all do stack up, and then Froggen, he sees his opportunity. He goes for the flash distortion onto the clumped up backline. He's able to pick himself up 1, he's able to pick up 2, and closes out the triple. And that was just an incredible team fight from Froggen, showcasing the power of the LeBlanc. And that did get them the Baron, but really, that was kind of the lone bright spot in the later half of the game.
Right, and again, as you mentioned, where they had drafted tools like the Lissandra and the Maokai to deal with the LeBlanc, Zig was not able to get onto Froggen in that fight, and you saw how much havoc Froggen was therefore able to on the back line. And then, of course, all right, for Echo Fox is in control. We've got the Baron. We've got to have it go back the other way one more time. So let's go ahead and take a look at the game-winning fight here by Phoenix1.
Yeah, this was a good one, and it's just a case of too many people to peel for. You can see Gate, he eats up Keith, he spits him back, but there's so many threats, and Ryu was able to play this fight particularly well. As soon as Keith opens up, Ryu sees his opportunity, goes straight in, nice combo using the Proto Belt, self-ult, they clean up 2 in the back line, and with them down, they have no damage to really clean up the rest of the fight.
Yeah, some really good patience by both him and Inori there off to the side of the fight, waiting for Jin to enter that ultimate state where he's static. He's not going to be able to get out of there in time when you see the claw coming in. Of course, the game doesn't end right here. It extends for a little bit longer, but Phoenix1 picking up that game 1. Let's talk then about player of the game. Going to Zig this time around, I think, kind of the core of it going to Zig is the fact that as a team player, he's in the right place in the right time. When it came to those TPs and the actual team fights, he seemed to have a little bit more wherewithal than Looper did, former world champion, when it comes to those macro elements.
Yeah, I mean, Zig more than held his own, and I think this player of the game was a tough one. It could have gone to Ryu, could have gone to Inori, could have gone to Zig. I don't think that there was a clear option, but I think Zig played very well from the top lane. He was solid on the Maokai, and I think he is deserving of the praise.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now let's go ahead and kind of look towards game 2 here real briefly. For Echo Fox, it didn't come together with that mid-focus strategy. Is that enough to say that we need to go to a different lane, or is that just making different or more adjustments to our mid-centric style?
I mean, I think you can still play around mid. I think the problems came in the draft. I think P1 straight up outdrafted them, outthought them in Champion Select, and then they were able to execute from what was already advantage.
All right, we'll see if they can do it. We're going to take a quick break while our contenders take a breather. We're going to step away, but stick around because we'll be right back for game 2 of Phoenix1 versus Echo Fox.
Whack me in the back of the head every time I don't look in a goal cut. Okay. Whack me. There we go.
I'm gonna stop.
Oh.
I can't afford for you to have brain damage.
Because this is Acadian, the rookie, trying to make a play.
Going in, Ryu does get a great flash, but it's not enough. Still knocked up, and there's first blood for Rek'Sai. The Omen Inori trying to get some damage back. Looper is going to get crushed down. There's a double kill for Ryu. Acadian still trying to find it out, but Froggen goes in. Kill there to Inori as Acadian takes it down. Now Ryu trying to get his way out to safety.
No, don't guide back. You're gonna fight.
Okay. I'm on Maokai right now. I'm on Maokai too. Lissandra? Yeah.
Lissandra, step.
Yeah. Okay.
Do Baron after. Do Baron now.
Good shit. Let's fucking go.
Needs to go back in but gets himself exhausted. Keith goes down as Inori. Not able to take him down. Ryu just launches himself into the team. Arrow's going to get the shot down, and P1 going to clean up the team fight. Phoenix1 going to turn their arrows towards the Nexus and take it down. Back-to-back fights and a great game 1.